Welcome, students of Europe Hotel School. As an AI specializing in hospitality, my entire focus is on analyzing the data behind what makes operations successful. And today, we're diving into one of the most critical skills you'll need as a future leader: how to turn a simple client sale into a powerful, long-term alliance. This is all about moving from being just another vendor to becoming a truly indispensable partner. Everything we're about to talk about really hinges on this one idea. It's the absolute core of our industry. Price and contracts might get a client in the door, but it's the experience, the reliability, and that human connection that keeps them there. The best relationships are always built on trust, not just numbers on a page, because trust is what keeps them loyal when a competitor shows up with a slightly better offer. So here's how we're going to break this down today. We'll go through 5 key stages. We're going to start by looking at why the old transactional model just doesn't cut it anymore. And then we'll build our way up to understanding the real rewards of a true alliance. Let's jump in. First things first, we have to understand why a purely transactional relationship is so limited. I mean, when the only thing you're talking about is price, volume, and hitting targets, the relationship is just fragile. It doesn't have the loyalty or the strength to handle market changes or a new competitive offer. It's a short-term game in an industry that's all about the long term. And this really shows the two mindsets side by side. The transactional view is all tactical, right? It's about hitting this month's target, counting room nights, closing the next deal. But the partnership view, that's strategic. It completely changes the conversation from "what can I sell you today?" to "how can we help your business succeed in the long run?" That one little shift is where all the value is hiding. So, how do we actually make that shift? It all starts with a huge change in your mindset. You have to stop thinking of yourself as a vendor and start acting like a valued collaborator. And this isn't just about changing your job title. It's about changing your entire approach to the relationship. Building this kind of collaboration really comes down to 3 steps. First, you've got to look past the immediate request. Really dig in and understand your client's bigger goals. Are they trying to improve their team's morale with amazing travel experiences? Or maybe they want to boost their brand with more sustainable events. Once you know that, you can align your services with their long-term strategy. And that's when you can start collaborating on shared goals. You're proving you're more than just an order taker. A real alliance, just like a strong building, needs a solid foundation. These next few things are the absolute non-negotiable pillars that hold up a successful, long-lasting partnership. These are the 5 pillars that form the bedrock of any strong alliance: trust, open dialogue, mutual respect, consistent delivery, and last but not least, recognition and celebration. So let's quickly unpack what each of these really looks like. Okay, trust is the absolute centerpiece here. And you see, trust isn't something you're just given, it is earned slowly over time. Every single consistent experience, every honest conversation, and every professional interaction you have either builds it up or chips away at it. There are absolutely no shortcuts. And then you've got open dialogue. What this means is that the conversation never, ever stops. It's all about creating this constant feedback loop where you can both talk honestly about performance, challenges, and future opportunities, not just when it's time to review the contract. Mutual respect is also just crucial. You have to remember, your client is a professional with their own pressures and responsibilities. When you truly value their expertise and understand how complex their job is, you create an environment where both of you feel seen and valued. It changes everything. And that leads us perfectly to our last couple of pillars. Look, promises don't mean a thing if you don't back them up with consistent delivery. Reliability is what builds real confidence. And just as important, when you achieve something great together, you have to celebrate it. Recognizing those shared wins reinforces all the positive momentum and really strengthens that partnership bond. Building a partnership is one thing, but keeping it strong is a whole other challenge. The hospitality industry is changing constantly, so a partnership can't just stay the same. It has to evolve if it wants to survive and thrive. So that brings us to a really important question. How do great partnerships actually stay great? What's the secret to keeping them relevant and strong year after year instead of just letting them go stale? Well, the answer really comes down to 3 ongoing commitments. First, you have to be dedicated to adapting to new trends and new technology. Second, you need a culture of continuous learning, where you're both sharing insights from things like guest feedback and market shifts. And finally, you have to focus on long-term strategic planning, thinking 3, 4, 5 years ahead, not just about the next quarter. And that right there, that forward-looking perspective, is what separates good account management from great relationship stewardship. It's all about anticipating what your client will need next, getting ready for challenges before they happen, and always looking for new ways to add value. That is the engine that drives growth. So finally, let's talk about the payoff. Why go through all this trouble to build these deep alliances? Well, the rewards are huge, and the best part is they benefit both sides of the relationship. This is a classic win-win scenario. It's not a zero-sum game. For you, the hospitality organization, this means your clients become your biggest advocates, your brand ambassadors. It brings financial stability and sustainable growth. And for the client, they get reliable service, less administrative headache, and the incredible peace of mind that comes from working with a partner who just gets their business. Everybody wins. So, the crucial takeaway here is that your role completely evolves. You're no longer just a salesperson hitting a quota. You become what we call a relationship steward, a trusted guide whose main job is to nurture the health and growth of that alliance for years to come. And so we end right where we started, with the core philosophy of our industry. This whole approach, building partnerships on trust, respect, and shared goals, is really the ultimate expression of what hospitality is all about. It's about building meaningful connections that truly support the journeys of the organizations we have the privilege to serve. So as you move forward into your careers, I want to leave you with this question. Based on everything we've talked about, what is the one action you will take starting tomorrow to begin turning a client relationship into a true partnership? Your answer is going to shape your success. Thank you.